Good afternoon. My name is Louis Gutierrez. I'm the first Deputy Superintendent for the Cicero Police Department. Thank you for joining our press conference today. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the folks that are behind me. From the town of Cicero, we have Cicero Town President Larry Dominic, the Superintendent of Police, Thomas P. Boyle from the Cicero Police Department, Deputy Superintendent of Investigations, Francisco Diaz, Lead Detective on this case, Sergeant David Luizzi, and then to my left, I have from the U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Marshal Northern District, LaDon Reynolds, Commander Diego Grimaldo, and Deputy Commander Jason Norwick. From the Fields family to my right, I have Angela Fields, the sister of the victims, her children, Zachary Fields, Ashley Mertz, and also Stephanie Fields. She's the daughter of John Fields. At the conclusion, we'll be providing an opportunity for questions. Those questions should be directed to the Superintendent of Police and the U.S. Marshal. The Fields family has elected not to answer any questions at this time. We also provide a statement in Spanish if we have anyone here from Spanish media, and they will be able to provide that at the conclusion of our press conference. At this time, I would like to invite Superintendent of Police Thomas Boyle.
Good afternoon. My name is Thomas Boyle, B-O-Y-L-E. I'm Superintendent of Police for the Cicero Police Department. Today we are announcing the arrest of 49-year-old Daniel Flores, a resident of Guanajuato, Mexico, for murders of John Fields, 22, and his brother Michael Fields, 19, both of Cicero, Illinois. On behalf of the Cicero Police Department, I'd like to extend our deepest condolences to the Fields family for the tragic loss of two brothers who proudly served our country as United States Marines. On April 12, 1995, at approximately 2 a.m., officers responded to reports of shots fired in the 2900 block of 50th Court. Upon arrival, they discovered both victims lying in the street with multiple gunshot wounds. Despite immediate transport to area hospitals, both brothers were later pronounced dead. John Fields had recently completed his service with the United States Marine Corps, while Michael Fields, who had followed in his brother's footsteps, was actively serving in the Marines and was home on furlough after completing a tour of duty in Japan. For the past 30 years, almost to the day, our detectives have diligently worked to investigate this crime. The case was reopened in October of 2013, and in December of 2014, a key witness came forward and provided corroborating evidence and identified Daniel Flores as the suspect. An arrest warrant was issued for Flores on March 11th of 2016, charging him with first-degree murder. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, Special Prosecutions Bureau, the U.S. Customs, Border and Protection, and the U.S. Marshals Service, Flores was apprehended on February 8th, 2023, in Guanajuato, Mexico. He fought extradition for 2 years, but was finally brought back to the United States on April 9th of 2025 to face charges. On April 10th, 2025, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office reviewed the case and approved 2 counts of first-degree murder. Flores was ordered detained following a detention hearing this morning. The next court date for Flores will be on May 2nd in Maywood, Illinois. I want to express my sincere gratitude to the dedicated detectives and everyone involved in this case who never gave up. Their perseverance and commitment to ensuring justice for the Fields family is truly exemplary. Their hard work has provided much-needed closure to the Fields family and brought Daniel Flores back to Cicero to face charges. At this time, I'd like to bring up United States Marshal LaDon Reynolds.
Thank you, Superintendent. On April 9th, 2025, Daniel Flores was extradited to the United States of America by Mexico under the U.S. Marshal Service. This capture and extradition highlighted the collaborative efforts of multiple agencies in not giving up over 30 years to catch Flores and bring him back to Chicago to justice. The Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force, Chicago, had information on the location of Flores and asked our Mexico Foreign Field Office to assist. Flores was arrested on February 8th, 2023 in Mexico, and today he's in custody. We're happy that this can finally help the family of Michael and his brother to get closure on their losses. The Cicero Police Department sought the assistance of the Great Lakes Task Force in the apprehension of Flores and confirmed a provisional arrest warrant was issued and approved. The Great Lakes investigators determined Flores was believed to be residing in Celaya, Mexico with his current wife. The task force, working in conjunction with Mexican authorities, were able to confirm an address for him. An operational plan of arrest was developed, leading to the successful apprehension of Flores in Mexico. We are proud to partner with agencies like the Cook County Sheriff's Department, the Cicero Police Department, and others in an effort to make our community safer and bring those who commit crimes to justice. The U.S. Marshal Service is the federal government's premier agency for fugitive investigations. Our task forces are a combined effort of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to locate and arrest the most dangerous fugitives. Today, you see the results of those partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno. At this time, we'd be happy to entertain a few questions.
Could you explain more on what changed this case, reopened it? What was that key witness that really helped, come to this process?
Yeah, with any investigation, the specifics, I'll have Deputy Superintendent Diaz specific questions. But with any investigations, you have evidence that comes to be, you develop witnesses, and that's a timeline that is really predicated on just how your investigation goes. So sometimes it is very lengthy, and sometimes it's very difficult to locate witnesses.
Would you be able to elaborate on that?
I would. What was your question again, ma'am?
Could you just explain how the case, the Tiger Dawkins case, what that key witness let you know that led you to this arrest?
Well, there was a key witness that we needed to locate. Previous detectives attempted for a long time to locate her, but she had a relationship with our person of interest at the time, which later became an offender. So we had a hard time finding her because she was in Mexico with him. So that took a long time as the investigation progressed, and we were able to open it up in 2013. Obviously, through the power of the internet, social media, great detective work, and the family support, we were able to pinpoint a location that kind of gave us a better lead of where she was at.
What made her want to talk now?
Well, it's just we reopened an interview and investigation, and she just decided to talk. At the time, we didn't know that she didn't want to talk because she was not in the United States. So,
Was she glad to have been found?
I'm sorry.
Was she glad to have been found?
Well,
How-
I wouldn't comment on whether she was glad or not, but she cooperated with the investigation.
Do you have any idea why this happened, the motive at this point?
Well, the motive at this point was, just an altercation that was prior to the actual shootings, where, a subject decided to take matters into own hands, shooting two unarmed Marines.
Did the suspect know the two victims or have any prior relationship with them?
So they knew each other from a prior altercation, living in the same neighborhood type of deal.
That altercation, could you elaborate on that?
I will not elaborate as to what type of altercation right now. I will refer that to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office for further comment.
Is there anything else, any DNA evidence that really just closed this case?
Well, I will refer that to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. I'm not going to get too much into the actual details of the investigation. I think it's very important to acknowledge that these were two people serving our country, and it was just a heinous, cowardly act.
Could you say spell your name for us?
My name is Francisco Diaz, D-I-A-Z, and I am the Deputy Superintendent of Investigations.
Can you talk?
The detective assigned to this, Detective Luigi, and I had numerous conversations about one day having this kind of a setting, that will come to closure. So I know for a fact Detective Luigi put his heart and soul into this investigation. Myself, as a prior military person, I also took it kind of personal. So it's very rewarding, and for most importantly, it hopefully brings some closure to the family, who I cannot say enough of how supportive they have been and patient through this investigation. So it's mainly about her brothers and them.
For attending, the electronic version of the press release and the pictures of the victims and the offender should be sent out already, or if not, we'll make sure we get it out to you quickly, but you should have already received it. Thank you all for being here today. Appreciate it.
Well, it started back in 2013 when I was actually assigned the investigation. A group of us that came from Town President Dominic. He was one of them that had some interest in this case. So it was assigned to me and my partners at the time. Meeting with the family, just like with any other family, it's a difficult time for them. It was a wound that never healed, right? So when we met them, we took our time with them and explained them that we are reopening this investigation. We had some solid leads at that time, and that we were gonna follow this through as long as we could.
Would you say that President Dominic gave you guys all the support you guys needed in order to keep this investigation going?
Absolutely, from day one. Anytime we needed to travel, because we did a lot of traveling on this investigation throughout this country, there was never hesitation of not being able to do what we had to do. We were given the green light by the administration, the police administration, as well as our town officials. Again, we've always put Cicero residents first, and we will always continue to do that. The last 72 hours has been wild for me. Having the subject brought in for a 30-year-old case, we, as a group, because again, this just wasn't me, it was a group effort by our police department and other agencies that's been involved, but very excited for the family. It's not so much me, because we do this as a living for them, for every victim of crimes, senseless crimes. So we would always put them first, because we would want everybody to do the same thing if it was one of our family members.
Thank you so much for keeping our town safe.
I appreciate you guys. As long as we have positive people that are going to support our police department like we currently do, Cicero residents are going to be in great hands.
Deputy Superintendent Diaz, we just had the press conference here right now with the Cicero Police Department about this 30-year-old case. Finally, somebody got arrested. What can you share with our viewers about this person?
Well, it's been a long journey, to say the least. 30 years to bring justice to the family that they well deserve. You know, hopefully it brings some closure. But by all means, this investigation still has to go through the judicial process. So we'll prepare the next phase of this investigation, and we'll go from there. You know, these were two guys that their names need to be said. You know, John Fields and Michael Fields were two Marines that were serving our country, and they didn't deserve to brutally get killed in the streets.
What can you say about not only your department, but the town of Cicero, President Larry Dominic? You guys never gave up.
Well, to be honest with you, President Dominic, after his election in 2005, coordinating with the police department, they created a cold case unit of 3 veteran detectives. They were going to review old cases, review old homicide cases to see if there was any leads that were left behind that they could follow up on. This was one of those cases. There were two other cases that were successfully charged through this 3-man unit. Obviously, this case kind of went cold when we couldn't find a key witness. But after Detective Luigi opened up this case again, he was able to find a key witness to help us, that allowed us to obtain an arrest warrant for Daniel Flores. Well, after we obtained an arrest warrant for Daniel Flores, obviously him being in Mexico and us having knowledge, we coordinate with the United States Marshals, who are then the lead agency to do this type of apprehension. Like I said, they coordinated with the Mexican authorities. Once they found the location and prepared a plan, they apprehended him in February of 2023, which he then fought extradition for two years. And finally, after losing the extradition earlier this week, he was brought to the United States by the United States Marshals.
Why did it take 2 years for him to be extradited?
I really can't comment on that, because that's something that Mexico and whatever their laws are will allow. But I really don't know why it took 2 years. I wish it would have been sooner, but we're happy with the end results.
Do you think the family has gotten closure?
I believe that, I don't know if they have complete closure. They lost 2 loved ones, but I do know that they are very appreciative of all our efforts.
Are I think the whole town is. Thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you.